Alright, you're welcome to the second version of the video, which is a continuation of the previous video I uploaded on database. Now this one I'm going to give a tutorial on how you can submit data to your database using your PHP script to collect form data from HTML forms and then submit it to the database. Alright, from the previous lesson that we did, you will find out that we worked on a database called bookstore, and this is the database. The bookstore we created from here, from the PHP admin, has a table called books, and these books that we have here has the following fields: the book ID, book title, book author, number of pages, and registration date. Now if you look at the structure of this book, you notice that the book ID here is a primary key, which is also an auto increment. Then the reg date here, we give it a default value of current timestamp. That is to say that I don't need to bother myself inserting dates into this field. The date automatically gets itself updated. Okay, and then the book ID here, I don't need to bother myself fixing any value for this field here, because it automatically increments by itself. If I should browse here, I already have some data which I entered through the PHP admin on the insert button. Now we are going to look at how we can collect data from our forms and submit it into the database. Now let's take a look at this. I'm going to open up my bracket. My bracket is my editor, so I'm going to open it up, and this is my brackets right here. Okay, now if you should look at my XAMPP folder, in my XAMPP folder here, our HT docs, I have created a folder called my tutorials, and that is where I want to be keeping some of the scripts I will be using for this particular tutorial. Now already I've created a file here called books. Okay, so the books that I have here in my bracket, I've already loaded it in my bracket. So I'm actually going to present a simple HTML form right inside of this place so that I can actually get started. We start by declaring our version of the HTML, which is the doc type HTML. This is the HTML5 pattern of declaration. Okay, so this is my simple HTML form. I'm going to save it. Now if you look at this, my simple HTML, I've given it a title bookstore manager, and that's the form. I tried to echo out because I want to process this form right inside of these books as well. I don't need to process it in another page. I want to process it right here. So if I could have just written down here the same name as books.php, but I said to echo it out using our PHP. So this server variable here with the key PHP self_self actually stores the name of the current script in execution. So by echoing it out here, I've automatically echoed out this guy here. Okay, now I have a method equal to post. That's the method I want to use to post my form, and my form has a name too. Now my simple form is just in a tabular format, okay, with a caption of books registration form, the book title, and I have my inputs. Every input here must have a name. Now the book title, I gave the input name as title. Okay, it's required, it must be filled. Then my book author, I gave the input name as well as author. Same thing goes to my number of pages, I gave the input name as NOP. Then I have my table data, where I kept my buttons. Now I have the clear button and the submit button. You notice that my submit button has a name as well, which I call btn submit. I'm going to be sure that a user clicked on this submit button, and as well that the form is submitted using the post method before I can actually execute my PHP scripts. So what I'm going to do here actually is simple. just open up my I'm just going to open up my simple PHP code here. Now first of all, let us preview this on our browser and see what it looks like. Now on my browser, I just have to access my local host, my tutorials, and I have this books.php right here, and this is my books. Okay, oh, the form doesn't look that pretty nice. Let's just give it a little beautification and see what it looks like. Okay, alright, now I'm going to actually put in my style in between this place. So just put my style here at the head section, give it let me style the body as well. Body, okay, body, alright, background, body, background, ground, let's say linear gradient, to bottom. Okay, give it a blue, something that looks like blue. Okay, something that looks like blue, and then white, not pure white. Okay, I think this should give me something like this. Alright, so I'll save this, and then my table data, I decided to make all of them. First I'll text align these. Okay, give it vertical align as well to middle, and give it to top. Okay, now let's take a look at the form again and see what it looks like. And I have something like this looking somehow bad, so let's just okay, so I have something like this now. I think this is looking better. Alright, so, and that is my, okay, my input, background, trying to give it a transparent color, and let's see what it looks like. Oh, sorry. Alright, that's not work well. Let's not just bother much about this, and then let's process our form and see what it looks like. Now down back up to our PHP. Now we're going to actually open up a PHP script here. PHP. Okay, now try to use the if statement to find out if this form has been submitted and the user actually clicked on the button. So I'll say if is set $_post btn submit. Remember, the name of our button, of our submit button, is btn submit. Okay, so, and once this form has been submitted, the name actually is being keyed into the post global variable as the key. Okay, so once the form is submitted, this particular variable here gets set. Now if it is set, meaning that the user has actually clicked on the button, and also we need to check that the server request, that is server request underscore method Okay, so if the user has actually clicked on this button and the request method is equal to post, then what should happen? That is when the scripts here will get executed. So the very first thing I'm going to do is this: to set up my my variables. Some variables I'm going to use for connection. I call them connection variables. Connection variables. Now I'm using server to hold my local host, my user, and my path, and this. Then after this is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to actually receive these variables and store them in another variable. So what I'll do now is simple: retrieve and filter the form data. So I'm trying to make this keep it simple, okay, with very little security in mind, since this is just a demo. So what I'm going to do here is $sign title to be equal to HT special HTML special cars UC words to make it uppercase, and then actually trim the stuff, and then $sign underscore post title. Okay, then this is author, and this is number of pages. I think I don't need this one. This is number of pages. This is author. Okay, fine. Now that I've done this, remember this title, this author, this NOP actually is coming from the names that I have here. Alright, now that I've filtered this, the next thing I'm going to do here now is to prepare my SQL. So first of all, I'm going to actually establish connection. Let me establish my connection before I can actually start building my, let me still build my query here. So I have $sign SQL to be equal to let me just do it this way. Okay, now I just use this variable here to connect my MySQL underscore connect to connect to the server, which is the local host, the user, which is root, password, which is empty, and my database, which is the bookstore. Now I have to check if there's an error. If this is not true, then it should die an error, could not establish connection, and then my SQL error to give me the actual error, so I can at least find out what actually went wrong. Okay, now after this, now what next am I going to do? Let me prepare my SQL variable. Okay, so how I'm going to do this now, I'll simply just put it this way: $sign SQL equal to insert into books, book title, book author, number of pages. And these are the fields we have in our database. Then with the values, title, so the title goes into this place, the author goes into this place, and this one also goes into this place. Notice that I didn't bother about my ID and the date, reason being that I already, those ones will take care of them in the database. My DBMS will help me manage those ones. Alright, now it is time for me to execute this actual query. So how do I execute it now? Just execute the query. Now I'm going to say $sign exec to be equal to MySQLi underscore query Okay, $con is to have a connection set up, and then pass in the SQL parameter so that this gets executed. Then I have to also find out that if this thing actually was executed. Now if $exe, what happens? So I'll say if this, which means if the execution, if query successful, then what happens? I'm going to use my MSG here to hold a simple message in form of JavaScript. Okay, and that will be to just an alert, to alert something to the user saying that data successfully stored in the database. Okay, alright, then close the script and close my PHP. Else if this is not true, okay, what will happen? We're gonna have this, still the same message, script alert, error occurred, a new line character, the error. Just trying to, you can always do any other thing you wish to do here, but this is just for this demo. This is what I want to do. Then I can save this file. Then I need to echo out this message here if it is set up, so that it won't be running immediately. So I'll just come down to this place here, open a PHP script, PHP. I'll say if is set an MSG, knowing fully well that this stuff here will only be set when the user has actually submitted the form. So if it sets an MSG, then what happens? Echo message. Alright, okay, and I think we are good to go. So with this simple stuff I did here, let us go and test run the work and see what happens. Okay, refresh, and we still have this here. We have our clear and our submit. Now look at this, my database very well. We have only 6 data, only 6 here. Okay, and I'm going to add something to it. So what will I do now? What I'll do is simple. Let me just add up a book. Now I have a book here named titled small business management, and the book author is Maxwell Ogiabwe. Then number of pages, I wouldn't know, but I think this book has about 214 pages. Then submit. Oh, data successfully stored in the database. Okay, so the data has been stored. Let us go and find out if that is true. Now to find out if this is true, I just have to click on browse again, and you find out that it has entered. So automatically I have this in my database. It has been stored. Now in my next video I'm going to show you how you can actually retrieve this.